If you think I'm bad about starting things that I don't finish, just wait until you see. I hope you all missed me as much as I missed the entirety of this season's Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, I know what you're thinking, and it bores the hell out of me. So instead of reading your stupid thoughts all day, I'm going to narrate a playthrough of Dragon Warrior DOS, the hero who can't use magic. If our protagonists can consistently stomp this silently throughout the remainder of our quest, I can assure you that we will ambush every foe we encounter, and we might survive to level 10. Much unlike Square's Final Fantasy series, Dragon Warrior 2 is, in fact, the second installment in this popular Enix franchise, and the numbers are not made up to trick us into believing that we haven't missed any episodes. Since I have previously completed this game on the European Extreme difficulty setting, all 26 letters of the standard English alphabet have been unlocked, and are available for use on the name entry screen. I will take the liberty of utilizing the letter Z, an unnecessary vanity but a luxury I have earned. Next, I will choose the message speed that I want to use, but not the message speed I think I deserve. In my humble opinion, I believe it is rather arrogant for this log to call itself a pro. Furthermore, you may be thinking that this message speed is not as fast as the settings would imply, but I will venture to predict that you have already missed 2 or 3 of the subliminal messages hidden within the text. If you forgot to read the prologue, do not fear. It really didn't say anything important, except for the part about how to operate the helicopter in Chapter 3 and your potentially fatal copper allergy. Our story begins with an unnamed Princess Marth speaking with the village plumber about the incessant leakage coming from the upstairs castle. The puddles have become so large that many of the citizens have resorted to building bridges in their own rooms. Gradually, and with multiple warnings, the background music becomes ominous and hectic, signifying impertinent danger. The pale green hazard lights activate and will lead you to an exit in the event of demonic terror. Alternatively, one could simply cast the outside spell, or while you're at it, cast some spells that might slay these annoying beasts. I just looked it up, and it seems that I used the word impertinent incorrectly. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the true face of terror, an adorable blue smiling marching band demon with a tuning fork baton. On the other hand, King ADD is in possession of the true beard of terror, and has little trouble squashing this cyan Satan into cute fairy jelly. The king then instructs his female clone to hide in the basement, because they'll never find her there. He bids his kin farewell as he departs on a long and treacherous odyssey to the chamber pot. His expedition is cut short, however, when he realizes he has forgotten the royal iPad. This monster, as the game calls him, is more commonly known as the Australian slurping Moctopus, whose ability to blend in with his surroundings is completely counteracted by the loud, interminable sucking sound made by his 8 dangling tongues. A piece of advice for first-time players: summoning the guards does nothing. Suddenly, the king is ambushed by a pincer attack and catches the point of a lance in his one vulnerable area, his body. With his dying breath, he requests that you make the proper substitutions for his fantasy football team next week. As more and more fork bats begin to show up fashionably late to the raiding party, each of the 3 or 4 citizens are gripped with a sickening terror. This isn't the first time the boys in blue have crashed one of their events. A man with a pointy hat places a C4 explosive on the back of a disgruntled cosplayer, this time remembering to wait for him to turn around before triggering the detonation. Andre Moonbrook Risen pledges to warn the world of imminent danger, turning to watch his mansion and many possessions burn to the ground after Lisa Left Eye Lopez set his brand new Nikes ablaze in the bathtub. Spoilers, he will go on to win both a Super Bowl and a Canadian Grey Cup championship. He finally arrives at his destination after presumably fighting dozens of high-level enemies single-handedly. For unknown reasons, he briefly feigns unconsciousness. Maybe he thinks he sees a bear or something. Yes, imminent danger. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Now, if I were a castle guard and some crazed, bleeding stranger stumbled toward the entrance rambling about evil tidings that cannot wait for the king, I'd probably interpret his words as an insane, possessed plot for assassination. Nevertheless, the employees at Dr. Peach's stadium are paid to stand and look pretty, not think. They let this determined foreigner have an audience with the flyest DJ in all the land. MC Harbinger busts his final raps in an effort to warn the world of imminent danger brought on by the foul wizard Hardon. The mayor lazily delegates this responsibility to our hero Zangief, completely ignoring the fact that some guy just died. He then forgets to call fives on his seat as he heads to the kitchen for a royal go-gurt. In this Game of Thrones, you either win or you fuck up. The king, having been born in the early Dragon Warrior era, must manually select the stairs command in order to descend. Our hero's only magical proficiency can be seen in his ability to teleport from the tops of stairs to the bottom, and vice versa. This is useful because... fuck stairs. The king's identical twin is waiting for you in the foyer. The foyer, with your favorite Ghostbusters lunchbox and a cracked bat. He hands you these and your allowance in order to prepare you for the rest of Dragon Warrior 2, Quest of Importance. You thank him for his generosity, even though some princes in other castles get 80 gold per week. But you've still got more gold in your pocket than most peasants have ever seen. This man with the harming stick reminds us to equip all weapons, armor, and pants before heading into combat, which is a thing we have already done. It seems we are one step ahead of him in terms of premature remembering. The local villagers, who are all level 1, seem to know a surprising amount of information regarding your upcoming adventure. Perhaps they all subscribe to Nintendo Power Magazine. This merchant has some of the finest and onlyest wares in all of the kingdom. He has seen great success selling his goods just outside of the castle gates for the last decade or so, and has amassed quite an impressive fortune. He would be living a glorious life of luxury if there were anywhere else in the kingdom for him to spend his hard-earned profits, or if he were not hopelessly trapped in his one-panel prison from which he cannot move. Make sure to complete every unnecessary task on your checklist before venturing out into the wild. This includes talking to all of the stupid townsfolk and looking at every wall. This Zoom tube will take you to a place you shouldn't give a damn about. Maybe the programmers added this tidbit of foreshadowing to trick you into believing that this isolated village will become accessible at some point in your journey. Do not be disappointed, however. This island village is basically the New Jersey of Alefgard. Well, it seems we've accomplished enough dicking around for one episode, but just for good measure, let's see what our old high school friends are up to these days. Update: still married with 2 children and more successful than you will ever be. It seems like every time they ask you, you're between jobs. At the castle infirmary, one can enjoy free healthcare benefits, such as regular examinations, STI screening, family planning, curse removal, and splinter tweezing. Although the system is quite progressive and widely used, many of the right-wing monarchs in the local government have imposed massive budget cuts to discontinue the service based on religious and moral grounds. What ho! It seems Zangief has stumbled upon his first random encounter and has ambushed 2 gooey gastropod mollusks. This allows you ample time to wind up and deliver a big slug to the back of the head, instantly defeating his first foe. And what a battle it was! That should be enough action for me today. Join us next time for when I actually play any part of this game. Until then, this is KarmaJolt signing off.